Good morning, children. Today we are starting the new chapter, Atomic Structure. Chapter 4, Atomic Structure. So let's start. We know that anything which has mass and occupies space called matter. Anything which has mass and occupies space called matter. So there are three states of matter: solid, liquid and gaseous. So solid substances, liquid substances, gaseous substances, these are considered as the matter. Because these substances having the particular mass and occupies space, so we can say these are the matter. And also we know that matter made by the smallest particles called atoms. So here in this respect, first of all, one Indian philosopher came, Maharshi Kannan, and he stated that matter made by the smallest particles called Anu. Matter made by the smallest particle called Anu. And also he believed that later, if the Anu divisible, then the smallest particle will be Parmanu. And after him, that one Greek philosopher came, Democritus, and his teacher Euclides. Democritus and his teacher Euclides. So here Democritus stated that matter made by the smallest particle and indivisible particle, smallest and indivisible particles called smallest and indivisible particle called atomos. So yes, atomos. Atomos meaning indivisible. Atomos means indivisible. And after that, in 1808, John Dalton had given the famous atomic theory, and John Dalton explained on the basis of science. Means scientifically he explained about the atom, about the matter. So here John Dalton had given the famous atomic theory, and he was the first to explain scientifically. He was the first to explain scientifically the matter, and he had given the some postulates. So first postulate here, that matter made by the smallest particle and indivisible particles called atoms. So first postulate here, matter made by the smallest and indivisible particles called atoms. And the second postulate of the Dalton atomic theory, second, atom can neither be created nor destroyed. Atom can neither be created nor destroyed. Third postulate of the Dalton atomic theory. So here third, atoms of the same element are alike in all the respects. Atoms of the same element are alike in all the respects. And these atoms of the same element differ from the atoms of other elements. So here atoms of the same element are alike, means same in all the respects. And atoms of the same element are differ from the atoms of other elements. Suppose, for example, if we take one piece of iron, suppose that iron nail. So here in this all the atoms of only iron, and if we take the aluminium piece, one piece of the aluminium metal, so here all the atoms of aluminium. So here we can say in a particular thing all the atoms are same in all the respect. If we are taking the iron metal, one piece of iron metal, so here all the atoms of only iron here, means only iron atoms are present. And if we take the one piece of aluminium, so here only aluminium atoms are present. So we can say atoms of same element are alike or same in all the respect. But atoms of one element differ from the atoms of other element. Next postulate, that atoms of different elements combine in fixed simplest whole number ratio. atoms of different element combined in fixed and simplest whole number ratio. For example, if we take the water, so water made by the two atoms of hydrogen and one atom of oxygen, because we know that water formula H2O. So here two atoms of hydrogen, one atom of oxygen. So ratio will be 2:1. If we take the sodium chloride, so sodium chloride formula NaCl. So one atom of sodium, one atom of chlorine. So ratio will be 1:1. In the same manner, if we take the ammonia, so here ammonia, one atom of nitrogen and three atoms of hydrogen. So here ratio will be 1:3. So atoms of different elements combine in whole number ratio. Next postulate, atoms take part in the chemical reaction, and here in the chemical reaction, rearrangement of atoms takes place. Rearrangement of atoms takes place. Rearrangement in the sense we can say here rearrangement. For example, if nitrogen reacts with the hydrogen, so we get the ammonia. So we can see here this is the nitrogen molecule. Two nitrogen atoms are present in this molecule, and here hydrogen, two atoms of hydrogen present. But if we see this compound, means after the reaction we are getting the ammonia. Ammonia formula NH3. So here one atom of nitrogen and three atoms of hydrogen, means nitrogen combined with the hydrogen. So totally different here. Rearrangement of atoms takes place. Rearrangement means here nitrogen atoms, means we can write in this manner. Nitrogen triple bond nitrogen, one nitrogen atom attached with the triple bond with the second nitrogen atom, and here hydrogen, single bond hydrogen. And if we take the ammonia, so here nitrogen combined with this hydrogen and this. So here we can see only nitrogen atoms are present in this, only hydrogen atoms are present, but in this molecule of ammonia, nitrogen combined with the hydrogen. So this is the rearrangement of atoms. After these, that some experiment happened that time, and also you can do this experiment. Suppose that if you take the one glass rod and if you rub on the hair, so you will observe that glass rod has the tendency to attract the small pieces of paper. So here what is the meaning here? If the glass rod has the tendency to attract the small pieces of paper, it means that glass rod means this is made by the atoms. This is the matter, and this glass rod made by the atoms. So in this way, if the atom has the tendency, means this particular matter has the tendency to attract the small pieces of paper, it means that here atoms made by the subatomic particles, atoms made by the charged particles. So atom made by the charged particles. So charged particles, positive, we know that positive charge, negative charge, these things. So here in this respect, that William Crookes in 1879 performed one experiment. So here he performed one experiment. He in the cathode ray tube. Cathode ray tube means this is made by the glass, and he fitted two electrodes, one at one end and the second electrode at the second end in the cathode ray tube, and also he provided the high voltage. Then he observed luminous rays develop. So he said that these are the cathode rays. So here first of all we will study the discovery of electron. So here negative charge, we know that electron has the negative charge. So first point here in your book given discovery of electron. Subatomic particles of an atom, and you are already knowing subatomic particles of atoms, electrons, protons, and neutrons in the 7th class you have studied. So here you will study in detail. So here subatomic particles of an atom, electron, proton and neutron. So in the starting wise how to discover these you will study in detail. So discovery of electrons. So in the discovery of electron, William Crookes in 1879 performed one experiment in the cathode ray tube. So this is called the cathode ray tube experiment. So here William Crookes in 1879 he was the British chemist and he performed one experiment in the cathode ray tube, and this is called the cathode ray discharge cathode ray experiment, cathode ray tube experiment. So here cathode ray discharge tube experiment we can say, because inside the cathode ray tube that the electric discharge occurs. So we can say cathode ray discharge tube experiment. So here this is made by the glass like in this manner. You can see the figure. So here in this experiment, William Crookes had taken the glass tube, this is called the cathode ray tube, and inside this tube no any air present, means this would be vacuum pump. So here we have to make the vacuum pump by removing the air from this tube, and we fitted the two electrodes. So here we can see this is the cathode, means electrode attached with the negative terminal of the voltage source, negative terminal of the battery. So we will say cathode, and if the electrode connected with the positive terminal of the voltage source, so we will say anode. So here we can see this anode means this electrode connected with the positive terminal of the voltage source, positive terminal of the battery. So we will say this is anode electrode, and here this electrode connected with the negative terminal. So we will say this is cathode. So electrode connected with the negative terminal of the voltage source. So this is called cathode, and when the electrode voltage source. So here this is called the anode, and this cathode ray tube totally vacuum. So here two electrodes are fitted at the both end. So here cathode at this end and anode at this end. Here these are present. And after this, he provided a high voltage by the voltage source. So in this way, he observed that luminous rays develop from the cathode. So here luminous rays develop. So here cathode rays, these rays develop from the cathode plate, and these electrodes made by the metal. And these rays coming from the cathode plate or cathode electrode. So these rays called cathode rays, because these rays coming from the cathode electrode. So these rays called cathode rays. So we will say here cathode rays. So here one thing I want to say here, by applying the high voltage, he applied the high voltage. So he applied the high voltage, and due to this, some luminous rays began to glow. Luminous rays. So here some rays, let's say rays originated from the cathode, and these began to glow by providing the high voltage. So by giving the high voltage, that this cathode ray began to glow. So what is the reason here? These rays are invisible. Cathode rays are invisible. But due to the striking with the tube glass, these rays began to glow. So due to the striking of the glass tube, that these rays began to glow. Because here due to the striking, that the glass part is excited, and due to this, the rays, the glow develop, luminous rays develop. So here we can say here, by providing the high voltage, the luminous rays develop. These are called cathode rays. And these cathode rays, he observed that these cathode rays went towards the anode. So here we can see here anode present, and this anode attached with the positive terminal of the high voltage, and here these cathode rays originated from the cathode plate, cathode electrodes, and these went towards the anode. It means that when these rays went towards the anode, it means that these rays made by the negative charge particles, and these negative charge particles are called the electrons. So here this is the experiment by the William Crookes, and William Crookes had taken one experiment. This is the cathode ray tube experiment, and in this cathode ray tube experiment, he had taken the one glass tube, and this glass tube, this is called the cathode ray tube here. This is made by the glass, and here he fitted the two electrodes, cathode electrode at one end attached with the negative terminal of the high voltage source, and after this anode, this is the attached at the second end, and this anode joined by the attached with the positive terminal of the high voltage source. This is called the anode. And by providing the high voltage in this cathode ray tube, that luminous rays develop from the cathode plate, from the cathode electrode, and these cathode rays went towards the anode. It means that these rays made by the negative charge, because we know that negative attract by the positive attract by the negative, means opposite charges attract by each other. So in this way here negative these cathode rays made by the negative charges and these negative charge attract by the anode because anode has the positive nature because it is attached by the positive terminal of the battery. After this experiment, J.J. Thomson explains the properties of the cathode ray. So here he stated that cathode ray is reflected by the electric and magnetic field because cathode ray is made by the negative charge particles and these are called electrons. So that's why these rays deflected towards the deflected by the electric and magnetic field. So here these rays, if we apply the electric field means positive and negative, so these rays deflect towards the positive because these rays made by the negative charge and we know that opposite charges attract with each other and the same charges repel. So here due to the opposite nature, here if we apply the electric field positive and negative here, so here these rays attracted towards the positive field, deflected towards the positive because these cathode rays made by the negative charge particles. These are called electrons. And so here J.J. Thomson first he had explained the properties of the cathode ray and he stated that these rays deflected by the electric and magnetic field. And the second property, he stated that these rays move in straight path. These rays move in straight path. And this we can understand. Suppose that if we keep one metallic object, small metallic object in the path of the cathode ray, if we keep so here if we keep one metallic object in the path of the cathode ray, so these cathode rays cast a shadow of the particular object on the wall of the cathode ray tube. So these cathode rays cast a shadow of the particular object on the wall of the cathode ray tube. So this proves that these rays move in straight path. So because cathode rays move in straight path and if we keep one small object in the path of the cathode ray, so cathode rays cast a shadow of the particular object on the wall of the cathode ray tube. This proves that cathode rays move in straight path. So this is the second property, cathode rays move in straight path. Third, cathode rays having kinetic energy. So here cathode rays having kinetic energy. So here also if we keep one metallic object in the path of the cathode ray, so this metallic object become hot. So here if we keep one metallic object in the path of the cathode ray, so this metallic object become hot. So this proves that these rays having kinetic energy. So these are the properties given by the J.J. Thomson. That first property, these rays deflected by the electric and magnetic field because these rays made by the negative charge particles. And the second, these rays move in straight path. And the third, that these rays having kinetic energy. And next, J.J. Thomson had given the E by M ratio of electron. So E by M ratio of electron, here value 1.78 into 10 to the power 8 coulomb per gram. So this is the E by M ratio of electron. E means charge of electron and M means mass of electron. So charge by mass of electron. So he has given the value of charge and mass of electron equal to 1.78 into 10 to the power 8 coulomb per gram. So he did not say separately the charge of electron or the mass of the electron, but So E by m ratio of electron equal to 1.78 into 10 to the power 8 coulomb per gram. And after that electron charge value determined and the mass determined. So we know that here electron negative charge and here we represent by minus 1. This is the magnitude -1 here electron. And the correct value of electron, one electron charge value. So one electron charge value equal to 1.6 into 10 to the power -19 coulomb. So this is the unit of charge, coulomb. So 1.6 into 10 to the power -19 coulomb. And if we say the mass of the electron, so mass of the electron equal to 9.1 into 10 to the power -31 kg. And also we can say mass of the electron we can change in the gram. So gram value of one electron mass equal to 9.1 into 10 to the power -28 gram. So here this is the kg value, 9.1 into 10 to the power -31 kg. And if we change in the gram, so 9.1 into 10 to the power -28 gram. So this is the reason electron mass very less, very less, and this is negligible. And the electron mass is about 1/1840 times of one hydrogen atom. So here one electron mass equal to 1/1840 means 1 by, here we can write 1/1840 times of one hydrogen atom. So very less mass of electron. So here mass of electron, one atom of hydrogen, and also we can say this 1/1840 times of one proton mass or hydrogen mass. So here mass of the electron 9.1 into 10 to the power -31 kg, and the charge of the electron 1.6 into 10 to the power -19 coulomb. And this is the reason that JJ Thomson explained the properties of the cathode ray. So credit for the discovery of electron goes to JJ Thomson. So JJ Thomson was the discoverer of electron. So here, if anybody asks that who is the discoverer of electron, so you will say JJ Thomson. JJ Thomson was the discoverer of electron. Electron discovered by the JJ Thomson because he explained the properties of the electron. So credit for the discovery of electron goes to JJ Thomson.